Welcome to Dare to Be Seen, brought to you by Elyssa Vulpes Productions and EDN Publishing. Join our host, Elisa de Napoli, aka Elyssa Vulpes, author, artist coach, hypnotherapist, singer-songwriter, and drummer, as she engages in down-to-earth, insightful, and inspiring conversations with female indie singer-songwriters around a virtual campfire. We shall discuss the lessons, songs, and personal stories of women who dare to be seen, scratching beneath the surface to give you an insider look into what makes their chosen career sometimes challenging and yet always inescapably compelling. So let's get the show started.
And welcome to this bonus episode of Series 1 of Dare to Be Seen podcast. I'm your host, Elisa di Napoli, aka Elyssa Vulpes, and today we talk about authenticity. What does authenticity mean, and how can you be a more authentic artist? Now, before we start, if you're an artist who needs to find a way forward, get your project going, or figure out how to turn your creative, artistic, or performance skills to a new venture, I'd like to invite you to go to tinyurl.com/dare to kickstart, where you can book a free Kickstart Your Project session with me. In this session, you will get reconnected to your vision, uncover exactly where you're stuck, come up with practical next steps so you feel fired up to start your creative project. And now, let's dive into today's topic. Now, what is authenticity? A simple way for me to understand it is to think of it as following your inner guiding voice. Now, in the world, often we are caught in a conflict between our inner guiding voice and an external pressure to conform. In other words, when you are creating a piece of authentic music or authentic art, you are expressing a piece of you through the art. And the form that piece of art takes depends on the message, the feeling, the concept you are trying to express or convey. On the other hand, when you are simply conforming to a genre, you are following the rules of the genre or the trend or the fad. Now, a lot of people object to the idea of creating art that comes from the heart, that doesn't necessarily conform to a genre, because they say, well, I need to make a living. And that's fair enough, of course. But today, there is space for any niche. There is space for any type of music. The way the music industry is now, it doesn't matter if your music is super weird. It doesn't matter if you are super niche, because all you really need is 100 people that really, really like your music. And the world is very big. And now more and more people have access to music and can discover you. So it is possible to make music that is liked and really appreciated by a bunch of people that you may never know. The thing is, it's more satisfying at a deep level to create music that's authentic, to create art that is authentic, even though it is terrifying to release it, because really what you're saying and doing is, this is who I am, whether you accept it or not. Of course, nobody wants to be rejected, and it doesn't feel good when we are rejected. But not everybody can like our music, just like not everybody likes chocolate. Now, the thing is, when you get accepted in your vulnerable state, when you get accepted for who you really are, it's profoundly healing. Think about it. Think about an artist who has truly touched you. Were they cookie cutters? Or were they unapologetic about who they were? See, this kind of creativity doesn't come from the outside. This kind of creativity that touches people is about digging down to find what is in the unconscious. It is not about imitation and it is not about random inspiration. It is excavation. It is looking inside, looking within, finding what is true for you. And if it's true for you, it will be true for a bunch of other people out there. Now, the temptation is to not go deep because you may be seeing others going for genres, going for fads, and being successful. And of course, it is alluring. Creating music you don't believe in just to get fans is alluring because you will get short-term success. But those people are not the kind of people that will like your music when you are true to yourself. The kind of music that you really want to create. So if you stick with the genre, you stick with the fad of the moment, you won't be truly fulfilled. And even if you later decide to create music that's more in alignment with who you are, well, those fans won't like what you're doing because that's not what they signed up for. So you've set yourself up for failure. You could go for this fad and you may blow up to success, but it's only going to last a very short time because those fans are not your fans. They are just fans of the fad and the genre. This is a little bit like trying to change who you are to fit in. Think about being a teenager. Everybody wants to fit in. But there's a big difference between fitting in and belonging. When you belong, you are being seen for who you are. You are understood and accepted for who you are. When you are fitting in, you are putting up a facade just so that other people will like you, but they won't like really you, they will like the facade. So you are being fake, and inside you will feel even more alone. So it is better, in my opinion, to stick to who you are, even though a bunch of people won't like you or understand you or accept you, because the people that do accept you, they are your tribe and they are the ones that really matter. It is harder and a longer road, but it's more fulfilling. And in the end, you will get your emotional healing from the people that accept you and see you for who you really are, and you will feel like you belong. Now, sometimes I get asked the question, should you be ever inauthentic? Is there a space for that? And my answer is, it depends what you want. If you, for example, are not passionate about music in the sense that your true passion is something else in life, but you want music to make money to fund the rest of your life, well, you could then go down the business route. If you do that, just make sure you acknowledge it. You're fully into creating products, but you don't do the halfway thing where you are trying to be authentic and at the same time you're trying to fit in. If you do that, it's not going to work. If you want to make music just for success and money, simply acknowledge this is what I'm doing, but just remember that no iconic artist has ever done it only for the money. If you're okay with that, go ahead. Lastly, remember that reaching your full potential is not an extracurricular activity. It's not optional. It is something you really have to do. Because if you don't, you are doing a disservice to the rest of humanity. I firmly believe that self-actualization is not optional. And it's not only for yourself. Sharing your gifts is a divine, if you believe in God, or a moral mandate. Think about it this way. It's like there is a table with all kinds of different foods that are appreciated by all kinds of different palates. And different people appreciate different things. And only you can create a kind of food that a specific type of people really appreciate. If you don't create that food, you are depriving those people of that appreciation. And so it is about feeling the obligation to become the most excellent, the biggest version of yourself that you can be. And simply for the reason that this is the law of nature. When you stop growing, you start dying. In nature, everything either grows or dies. So it's a healthy responsibility for yourself, but also for the rest of humanity, because we are all connected. You have a real impact on people. Do not underestimate that, ever. Even if you cannot see that impact, the impact is there, always. Now, some people say, sure, yeah, well, that person over there can do it, but not me. I am normal. I'm not special. But think about it, through history, there is no correlation between being naturally talented and getting a mastery of a craft. You may find it easier to master a craft if you're talented, or perhaps it may take you less time. But at the end of the day, what really matters is grit, much more than talent. It is the determination to keep at it, to keep practicing, growing, getting better at your craft. You just need to put the work in and have that growth mindset, only comparing yourself to yourself yesterday and not to other people. It is possible for you to master your craft, but only when you practice it every day as much as possible. So do what sets you apart from the pack. Because when you're authentic, you attract a certain kind of person, and that person is the person you want to attract. You attract people that are like-minded, your tribe. And that is what's fully fulfilling. The future you want comes from creating the music you want to create. And only you can give others that specific, unique music. Only you can give others what they need, and it must come from you, or they will miss out. Think about your favorite artist, and what a shame it would be if that artist had given up. Wouldn't that make your life a little worse? You could be that person for someone else. So let me leave you with one last final question. If you were 100% fully listening to your inner guidance, what kind of music would you be making right now? And if you're feeling brave, why not leave us a message? To do so, simply navigate to this episode description and you will find the link under Send Us a Message. And you might find yourself in the next episode of Dare to Be Seen. Thank you for listening.
That's all for this episode of Dare to Be Seen. Join the conversation on daretobeseencommunity.com and help us create an empowering community of independent female singer-songwriters who support one another. For show notes, resources, and information on today's episode, visit daretobeseenpodcast.com. And remember to shine your own unique light onto the world. It needs it.